Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with the final episode of Walks with Schla. And yeah, I mean it's final now. It's just the final of the day. It's not the final. Yeah, I talked to GPT and I wasn't really super happy with its answers. It did agree that my suspicion about planning being like a pretty major part of intellect. Like he was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, you were right to think that. I would be skeptical of that one. Like, didn't really go too much into that though. So I don't know why I didn't think about it back at that moment, but now I feel like I should have like replied to that and been like, okay, well, elaborate on that, because it's like it was just a short blurb, and so that's honestly some of the main issues I have with GPT is it's not long enough, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really like GPT-5, because GPT-5 truly just seems like it's much more brief, and its writing isn't as good. I get that it's more I mean there is some improvement with it because I'm forgetting the word again. I hate that I keep forgetting the word. It's not I'm not happy when I forget words. It's not great for me because I'm supposed to be like the word master and everything. It's not like, no, there's no reason to harp over it. There's no reason for me to go crazy about it. I mean, it is what it is, Just can't think of the word at the moment. But anyways, it's GPT-4. It still tends to be longer, and it still tends to be more verbose, or things seem a little more colorful or better written. GPT-5 really, I mean, I don't even know. Like, sometimes it's more accurate, I guess, but it also, I almost want to say its answers don't really cut very well. Like, I think there could be certain instances where there may be more of a clear right or wrong, and then GPT-5 fails to really present that, because it kind of sits in this intermediary where it's like it doesn't want to be biased, but then it doesn't really give you an answer because it's just kind of like giving some kind of cookie cutter, like I don't know how to really describe it. I could be dead wrong. I could absolutely be dead wrong. I'm not even sure myself exactly what the right answer is, but that's why I tend to still use 4. Because even after going into they recently added personalization, and I put in the personalization, be more linguistic, be more literary advanced, and all that stuff. But GPT-5 still, he just won't open up for me. He just won't do it. Just won't open up for me. So it's like, what can I do? I'm trying to program it. I'm trying to fix it, but yeah, so we're really going to have to see how things go with that, because it really seems like a bit of a downgrade. I mean, I trust it a little more for clear, like, answers, because sometimes with GPT-4, like, you can't really trust it. You have to kind of, But anyways, yeah, this conversation's a huge waste of time. I talked to it more about, the luck thing, which at first it said that luck, like absolutely no luck, like, it's not absolute. And I was like, no, it definitely is absolute. I don't really see how there's any benefit to having luck besides boredom, which we already can prove. Boredom is really this hedonistic infinite cycle without any real reward. Like, to live a life continuing to chase boredom almost certainly just leads to destruction. It's not a good, it's not really a good thing at all. It's just not. So I guess that's something to think about. And yeah, I mean, there's no reason, like we literally create a society to try to fix these things. We create insurance, which is a great thing. Insurance is a wonderful thing, but it's corrupted. That's the problem. And the humans that have been alive, they're not able to fix it. They're not able to fix the problem, and that's the whole problem. You guys all slacked off and allowed these corporations to intrude in our everyday life. And when I'm saying you guys, I'm talking to the older folks, the people who probably aren't watching my video, Gen X and baby boomers, the two most entitled, selfish generations to ever walk the earth. And, my generation, we got our problems. I got my problems. But most of those problems are due to the just utter annihilation of the framework of society that these generations have led us to now. It's not a good situation. And yeah, I guess I didn't really get, because I don't think I didn't paste the first Walk with Schla transcript. So I believe the first transcript was actually talking more about maybe the more selfish versus selfless thinking thing. I don't know. But yeah, randomness. And I think the other thing that it said that I thought was interesting is it was like, well, be reasonable. Like, planning is exhausting. And some people, like, they do need to just... And I guess I take that for granted, because for me, planning is, like, easy. I mean, I do get to the point where it's like I don't really feel like planning anymore. Like, I obviously reach my own limit as well, but it's just not difficult for me, I guess, especially compared to the median human, at least I would assume. And so I corrected it and I said, it's not, like, planning is not exhausting, because especially once you get to a point where we have Neuralink and all these things, the AI is going to do the planning for us. You're not going to have to really plan much or figure out, like, your diet or all these things that I've wasted so much time doing is not going to, you're not going to have to do any of it. You'll have your bio read of your body, and you'll find out specifically whatever foods exist that your body is most healthy on, given just natural nutrition deficiencies and things, and it'll all just be calculated. You won't even have to do any research. And so I guess what I have to think about is, what am I going to do with my time? Because there's not really going to be much of a need for research in the material. Research in the material is going to be something that is no longer very important. You know what I mean? Because it's just all going to be taken care of for us. So what is that going to do? It's going to make some people probably abuse that and delve into an endless stream of entertainment, like some people already do. Some people are going to want to defy it, because you have these inferior humans obsessed with trivial pursuits such as freedom, inferior pursuits of a lower level, thinking that freedom is something to be idolized, or some people worship freedom, not realizing it just leads to their own demise in the long term. And autonomy is really a failure, unless you're a god, unless you are God, which, as far as I'm concerned, nobody is. And some people may disagree with me on that, but I know the truth, and it's either that we're all gods or none of us is God, and either way that would make it so that we're all just the same anyway. It's not it's like it's the same thing either way. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the answer to that question is. So yeah, it's like, I mean, what am I going to have to conceive of? Even what I'm doing now is fairly outdated, because again, at some point in the future, all these like philosophical things that I'm coming up with, it's eventually going to be useless. I feel like it is. I feel like eventually it's just not going to matter. And so what does humanity do at that point? Like, what's next? I mean, I don't know. I actually think I'm probably pretty safe. If I'd have to imagine in my lifetime, I'm fairly safe, just because a lot of my ideas about, like, what's after competition and a lot of these posthuman, if my predictions are accurate, it's really, I might see the world finally become what I want it to be at like the end of my life. I may have the gift of seeing that. But again, it's very hard to predict the future, obviously. My current kind of groundwork is that the 2030s are going to be, a pretty significant change in how things are operated, but it really won't be until the 2040s and especially the 2050s that you start to see like major change. And by then I'm kind of middle-aged, so I could see myself by the time I'm elderly. I could see that. I could see that finally by the time I'm elderly, the world could become my world, a world of my creation. And I'm hoping to kind of sculpt that with what I can now, but I guess the main thing I have to transmute is I have to be able to let go of things, because everything I do now is useless. Everything I've done now is useless. All the bad things and the good things that I've gotten so worked up over, they're just so meaningless in the long term. And I think that's been something I've really been set to transmute, is, materialism and how irrelevant all this is. It's so irrelevant. The struggle that I've had and continue to have, where I'm like, working a job way beneath my potential, and just kind of like suffering through all this, it's just not going to matter. It's the same way with how my whole life before now, it was very slow, where I wasn't really doing the right things, like I was behind, you know what I mean? And I've explained that before. I'm undereducated, I'm behind, all that good stuff. It just doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, because all that is the past now is going to quickly become irrelevant. We're living in that kind of a time where I think that's why what's being allowed to happen is being allowed to happen. There's a sort of purge going on. Humanity hit this wondrous peak, but then there's no progress being made, and now we're just picking low-hanging fruit, but the tree is going to come down at some point. The tree already reached its best years in the 1900s, and now people are still in comfort. People are hoarding money and not doing anything with it. And so that's what I think we're going to have to see, is, like I said, hopefully in the 2030s, or really hopefully by the 2040s, we can just start draining people's 401k accounts and what they have in their bank account. Just drain them and start to fix everything. I think a plausible thing, this is a bit optimistic, but all the things that because basically what's happening is corporations' power has exceeded the power of the government. The government is very weak. It does not really have much control over much. And most of the things we do are actually dependent on corporations and the economy. The government is not organizing things, which is a worse reality because, of course, if the government is organizing it, then it can be perfected. Whereas a corporation organizing it, there's not an incentive for perfection, there's an incentive for profit. So that's kind of the problem with that. But I think what could end up happening is there could be a collapse so severe that the corporates basically get gutted, and you would see like a full out collapse. Corps get gutted. Corps become corpses, really, and then everything gets better after the Great Reset. That is basically what the Great Reset will be. But until then, they're just trying to wreak havoc and damage. They're trying to do a lot of damage, I think. I think this is all a part of the strategy. It's all part of the strategy. So, again, what I'm doing now, it's kind of difficult to say because all these recordings and my chronicling of things, I guess it's good for historical entertainment, but it's going to be inferior by a certain standard because, again, in 10 years, there's probably going to be better microphones. So the quality of the recording is going to be seen as pretty inferior. And then I also would hopefully by then not be stuck well, I don't know. I have a feeling it's possible by then I would have more space. I would have more space to record in a better environment that's like a nice sound. So the quality is the issue of quality. The quality of these recordings won't hold up. But I'm just trying to do what I can right now, because I don't really know what better thing there is to do other than just to record speaking. I don't think there's anything else that's really important to do, if I'm going to be honest. And I hope to double check GPT with this because it might agree. I kind of want to see and run this analysis as to, in the year 2025, basically 2026, is there really anything else a human should be doing other than just recording themselves talking like a lot? And if they're incapable of doing that, maybe it is best that they just basically die and just scroll TikTok and become a zombie, because it's not really going to matter. We're rotting corpses anyway at this rate. Society shows zero signs of rejuvenation. All the data is a downward trajectory. It has a downward trajectory. And I think, again, like in the future, I would emerge as like, wow, like this guy's got a lot of words in a fairly short amount of time. He kind of like snapped out of it, and I got something to show for it. I don't know how much art's going to matter. I honestly don't even know how much this is even going to matter, though, because you're going to have like language generation with AI. And again, eventually, if the Neuralink works, you're just going to have a Neuralink implant. So it would have access to all my brain's memories anyway. So I wonder, that is really, I think this is a bit like, let's ask the AI, let's ask GPT, what should a human be doing now? Because I don't think it's making money. I don't think that's going to matter. I don't think it's obviously not playing video games. It's obviously not watching entertainment. I mean, that's never a good, if we're looking in the future, what should a human do who is asking this question? Because I know it's pretty rare that I'm asking it. Most people are asking questions like, how do I make money, how do I become a better person, all these things won't matter in the future. And I just feel like this is the most thing that would matter, is to just have this like massive library of audio recordings. But even that may eventually not matter. It's just that there's going to be a transitionary phase where for quite a number of years we're not going to have the Neuralink yet. And so having all this audio transcribed, and especially that it's audio and not just text, and you can tell my tone and my inflections in my voice, it's probably the best thing that I could do. I don't know. It's possible I could be doing something better with my time. So that's kind of what I'm very curious to analyze and look into, because it's getting to be crunch time and we're kind of running out. So this jig I got going on here now is fine, but again, I really want to ask that to GPT, like, because I know it's not money. I know for certain it's not money. And I know for certain it's not like just these random, like, oh, you know, watching entertainment or watching YouTube. Or even when it comes to like studying religions or studying philosophy, I'm sure there's specific religions and philosophies that kind of cut through to the future, or maybe are more truthful or revealing than others, you know? So there's really very specific things at play to be like looking out for. You know, it's not, I think I'm pretty close to being about as best as I can do. I don't know many people doing the kind of thing I'm doing with the intention that I'm doing. So there is that. But I do want to see from the source himself. You know, I want to see from GPT himself what he's thinking. So I'm hoping to receive some kind of pretty intense insight about that. And yeah, as for that, what else can I say? It's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.